Hi, today I'm here with Dominic Garcia. Dominic has experience working at MarkLogic, NetApp. He was part of the first content team at Splunk, and now he is the head of marketing at Comet ML. Dominic, thank you so much for being with us today.
Of course, thank you, Caroline, for having me.
So today we're going to talk about an exciting topic. So obviously your company, right, is in the AI and machine learning space, which is a space that is moving very fast and growing. You know, there are like new companies emerging like all the time and new terms emerging all the time. So in such a market, to be successful, it's pretty essential to define what your company is doing really well and kind of stand out, but it's also very difficult to do.
Yes.
So what is your approach to positioning your company and standing out in a market that is, or a category that is exponentially growing?
Sure. So there are a couple of really interesting things about emerging or nascent markets in terms of just how the market develops, the trends that are introduced, and then how do you as an organization think about those trends or then eventually tie yourself to one based on how it's been adopted in the market. There's a couple things that I like to do. So the first thing that I would do is really just try to understand what are the terms that are in the market and how they've been defined. So a really good example is, you know, when I was at MarkLogic, for example, this was back when big data was first becoming a term, right?
Mm-hmm.
We sat in a room and we're saying, you know, are we big data? Are we not big data? Eventually, you started to see all of these tangential terms come out, which were, you know, big data, NoSQL, new SQL. So which of those things data, some of them did not. So, you know, it's really comes down to sort of a couple things for me. So number one is your audience. How does your audience view a topic? How are they talking about the problem? And then also looking at yourself in terms of where in the market do you think you fit based on the value propositions or really the problems that you solve for your customers? Because if you try to approach it from a perspective of I'm going to tell you who we are and what we do, you can really run into a wall. If you approach it from more of a, if I put myself in my customer's shoes and think, if I have this problem, what do I type into Google? It starts to give you a little bit of a different perspective in terms of how you should be thinking about how you position yourself or your company in the market.
Right. That's a really good advice, right? Like start with your customers. Don't start with what you think, right? Like it doesn't matter at the end of the day.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, Dominic, thank you. I think it was short and sweet, but packed with exactly what people need to get started. So thanks a lot for being here with us today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.